busy street. It's kind of straight up from the airport, like up, straight up to the mountains. And you come to a Mango Sunset. It's a bed and breakfast inn, not an Airbnb, a regular bed and breakfast. And it's at a working coffee farm, the Lyman Kona Coffee Farm. And then you go up this road, which splits in two. So you want to stay to the left-hand side. And it's way at the top. It's kind of at the end of the road, but not quite at the end of the road. It's the end of this road. If you go down the road to the right, it's a residential house. And that's even higher up. So you want to stay to the left. And the first thing you're going to hit is this Paws University, which is a pretty extensive doggy daycare and grooming facility. It seems to be quite large, and honestly it's actually this road is steep, but it's worth it because at the very top you're going to see views of the ocean. Yeah, and I think because we're at kind of a higher elevation from the airport, it's always 10 degrees cooler than like Kona Kailua, so it's always pleasant. Okay, so it's going to take me quite a bit of time to hike up, but as we go up we're going to see all kinds of trees on the left and the right, but the left especially. And I noticed some like orange trees and avocado, and we're kind of going to go I would say halfway up the street until we're going to hit the working coffee farm. I feel like these working coffee farms, these plots are almost like, they seem to be 5-acre plots. And this is like the famous Kona coffee. And these farms, it feels like they've been in the family for 3 generations, owned by, I feel like a lot of Japanese Americans or Filipino Americans, people who have been here for a while. And from just talking to people, it sounds like, while all these 5-acre farms that have coffee, they're in various states of working farm situations. So some have coffee, but they're not really running it as a money-making enterprise. And some have coffee farms that, it's been in the family that are a little bit more in disrepair. But this one feels like a coffee farm that got revved up into a full-time coffee farm, because I'll show you there's a barn structure in the back, and they're starting to put in drying facilities as well as a roasting equipment to roast their own coffee. So I don't know too much about coffee, but I know it has to be hand-picked. I think when it turns like red, and it's a berry, so it's kind of delicate, so hence the hand picking. And then it sounds like, from talking to the person at the Airbnb, the berries have to be dried for a couple of weeks, because I think the outside part is very soft and berry-ish. And then once it's dried, then I think it can be roasted. And then of course when it's roasted, it's the coffee beans that we all recognize. So anyway, Kona coffee is famous, I think, because of the climate being so close to the ocean, and the soil being volcanic. I think it gives it a certain type of very pleasant flavor, perhaps acidity level. I'm not quite sure. I'm not a coffee drinker. But yeah, Kona coffee is famous, and they had just finished their harvest. And I don't know if the harvest is like ongoing, like the berries just keep coming, or if there's like a season. That I don't know, but I did see like a worker when we first drove in yesterday, and I heard he had finished harvesting the berries, the coffee berries. And so, yeah, when we go past it, we won't see, ripe ones. Okay, so we'll know when we get to the Airbnb, because there will be a gate, and the gate is not automatic. You have to go physically open and close it. And the purpose of the gate is literally to keep the wild boars out. So this area here is pretty wooded, although it's, farms. But so there's wild boar that roam that are huge and can be very dangerous, especially if they have young with them. So never approach a wild boar family. We actually saw one when we were on the Big Island at a beach. It was like a monster dad, a very large mom, and like a baby. And they were just like hanging out like in the parking lot of the beach, doing their thing, and they were pretty calm. But in general, do not approach wild boar. They're seriously large and dangerous. So here you can see the orange tree. There's another tree here that she told me that looks just like an orange, but it has another name and it's very sour. And I never heard of it. It isn't like a sour orange like they use in like South American cuisine, but or maybe it is. It just has a different name. I don't know. And then next to it, right here, is avocado tree. Sometimes avocado trees can get quite tall. So these avocado trees are not that tall, but I can see pretty large avocados on it. This is the avocado tree. You can see avocados here. And then once you get to the actual property, they have like just fruit trees kind of growing here and there, which they harvest and serve as part of their breakfast. This property, I see a papaya tree here. Little papayas at the top, and I believe this one is a banana tree. A couple of banana trees. And this big one here is full of avocados. And I think it belongs to this house. So that we're still kind of going up the road. We haven't even hit the gate yet. This is the gate. And then you can see the sign for the Mango Sunset Bread and Breakfast, but honestly you can barely see it because it's like small, and the way they designed it, it's like the words really blend in. And then they say the Lyman Coffee Farm, which is also this property, is presently closed for tours. And so this is the gate that keeps out the wild boar. And then now you can see the view from halfway. So once we cross the gate, we are at the property, and the coffee beans start here. And this is where I saw the coffee bean guy who was harvesting the beans. He was kind of here gathering up. And I see some fruit trees in the back, and that could be banana. And then it's like lined with beautiful plants, but it goes pretty far back, you know, and all the way up. So quite a bit of coffee. I guess they're like there were bushes or trees. They're like fairly low, but like you also could use a ladder if you're not that tall. But yeah, maybe, I don't know how tall, but pretty densely planted. And you can see, you know, all the beans have been harvested. But now there's like flowers. You see like more flowers? So I feel like that's going to turn into a bean. So maybe the coffee beans have sort of multiple cycles of production, not just like once a year or twice a year. I don't know, but it seems like if they have flowers, you're gonna get beans. I don't know how long that takes though. Maybe a couple of months. Okay, so as you can see, these are all coffee trees or bushes. Yeah, you can see, oh here, you know what, I can show you one here that has a bean. Oh, so maybe it's year round, because like here's some that have young beans that are green, and then this one here is the red one, and I feel like that's the red one they would have picked. That one escaped them. And so you see all the different, the cycle from the flowers to the beans that are green. You got beans and flowers on the same branch, and then you have green beans that are green and a ripe one. There's another ripe one there. Yeah, so maybe there's a picking cycle, I would think, in every, I don't know, 3 weeks, a month. You come and just pick what's ripe. But as you can see, there's quite a few. I only saw one person yesterday, so I don't know if you need a bunch of people and you can just do it more quickly, or one person can handle 5 acres. I don't know. Okay, so we're gonna keep going up, and then here's the view again, just a little bit past the gate. We're almost to the structure, and here you see a chicken, and there's definitely chickens wandering around, so you have to keep the door to your room closed so the chickens don't come in. Otherwise they're going to poop all over your room. And you definitely hear them in the morning, the rooster, and I don't know if they're just wild or they're, you know, sort of free-range chickens. But there are lots of chickens wandering around the different islands of Hawaii that are clearly wild. Okay, so we're almost to the Airbnb. You can see the road we just passed and the tea leaves, the tea plants that line the side of the street, and then you can see all the way to the back the clouds and then the ocean. This is the island, the big island of Hawaii. Okay, so now we made it, and like this is the parking lot for like maybe 4 cars can squeeze in here, and then that house to the left is where the managers of the Airbnb live, and then these are the Airbnb itself. These are the units. I think there's suites in the front and like 6 single rooms in the back where we're staying. And then the front too, once we climb all the stairs, I'll show you, there's a lovely place where they serve breakfast, and then like a place to just like hang out and look at the view. She said it's especially nice at sunset. Now you can go up the stairs, which is a little bit steeper behind the car, and then, or you can follow this path, which is not as steep, and it'll get you there very quickly as well. Okay, so we'll climb up the front, which is marked by these 2 potted palms. And here you see more coffee trees. It is like definitely a working coffee farm. So these are like lava and, you know, picturesque, a little steep. If you have mobility issues, definitely come the other way, but beautifully planted. You start to get glimpses of the view. Okay, so these are the suite units, and you can see the gazebo and the view. And oh, I hear a car. This is the breakfast nook area here. This is just like lounge chairs to hang out on to see the view. This structure is the barn. That's where they're going to be drying the beans and installing a roaster. And then this is the house that the managers, the Airbnb live. This is the breakfast nook area. I think there's 4 units, so it's like 4 little tables. Very cute. I think these are banana trees. And then you can just sit here and lounge as well. And you can see all the way out to the ocean. That's a really beautiful So then as we walk kind of behind the Airbnb units, you see all these trees. I think there's some edible. They said this is a breadfruit tree, but it's never borne fruit. And in fact, it has a label that says breadfruit on it. But yeah, no fruit. This is what we call, I had this growing up in my house. It is what is it called? Kumquat? No, that's not right. Well, maybe it is. We called it a peapaw tree. That was like the Chinese name for it. They're really nice. There's like a big black shiny seed in the middle, and then you peel this outside off, and then the flesh is a little bit like cantaloupe. It's sweet though. So there's more of this. Maybe it's called loquat. Yeah, I think it's called loquat. But the ones that are orange, like these were ripe. Yeah. And then she has what was hibiscus. And you could actually dry the hibiscus flower, it makes a nice tea. And then she has remarkably a tree tomato, which is my daughter's favorite fruit. and she picked them. The 3 ripe ones that we saw, but here are the unripe ones. The tree tomato is this miracle offering. It's a cross between a passion fruit, also known as a lily boy, and I guess a tomato, I'm not really sure, but it's really delicious. And then this is the orange tree behind it. And then there's an orange tree behind that. Like, if you go here and you go behind it, it looks just like an orange tree, but it's not orange. It's something that's sour, another kind of citrus I'd never heard of. And I think she said there's avocado. But so anyway, this is the back. Hi! Oh, so she made me a lovely breakfast. Oh wow, so beautiful. With the tree tomatoes, aforementioned tree tomatoes. And then right here at this nook, the seating area, you can see all